Building Independence, 1 to 2 year olds, Part 1. Active movement, making the connection between movement and learning to develop the whole child.
There's a whole series of physical milestones that we see children going through, and the milestones are developmental indicators, if you like, of where the child developmentally is at. So the girls will have been rolling when they were little, then started to crawl, then they walk, and after walking comes jumping. And the beginnings of jumping actually happen really, really early on. So you start seeing little people, even when they're not walking, they'll sit on balloons or on your knee even, bounce up and down. Any time from 18 months is when we usually find children starting to 2-foot jump. That means they lift both feet off the ground, which is actually really early.
Ready? Jump! Good girl. Good girl.
There's a significant stage. It's a stage that the children are still functioning in what we call the bilateral state of development.
Good girl.
Which means neither side of my body is dominant.
Jump!
The girls have got an imaginary line down their bodies, called the midline, and that separates their left side from their right side. At this age, their bodies are functioning as a whole. One side of the body mirrors what the other side is doing.
It's not till I've jumped, and I learn to jump, and I bounce up and down, that I start to cross my midline, okay? That then means I can then start to do these kinds of things, and these kinds of things where, you know, one side of my body is doing something different from the other.
Right.
Okay? And it's very significant when I go to school because I need to hold this side still while this side moves, you know, so I have to have lots of practice at doing those kinds of things. The best thing to do to encourage midline is to do crawling activities. So playing games where you're chasing the child around the house, put all your chairs together and put the blankets over the top and do crawling activities, all that kind of thing is going to help with this midline thing.
And don't think once your child's jumping that the midline's been conquered.
Later on in development, you might notice with your boys in the swimming pool, they're swimming nicely with the kickboard and they're kicking away. And so you say, oh, we're going to bring in the arms. So you take away the kickboard and they start using their arms, and what happens to the feet?
They stop.
They stop. And you say, hang on a second, you've forgotten your feet. So they start with their feet again and the hands stop. Okay? That's because I still haven't sussed out completely the midline thing, because the midline thing allows me to do something different with one side of my body than it does with the other. So it's much practice of doing things with both sides of the body at this stage, not trying to make them become right-handed or left-handed, because there is no advantage in doing that. Just allowing them to have free rein of using both sides of their body. That means in the high chair, when they start using the spoon, where are you going to put the spoon on the high chair?
I don't know.
In the middle. So that they choose. Now this leads me on to talking about body image and understanding my body. We do a lot of baby massage with little people so that they learn that their body starts up here and finishes down here. Now it's at 18 months and a little beyond that, it's still important to do that. You might notice that they're particularly clumsy at this age. They trip over things and bang into things. Because they're growing so jolly fast, they have to adjust. They're a different size, so they're having to have experiences all the time to learn about their different body shape and body size. But learning about their body image also requires us touching those areas and touching, you know, this, as you massage, this is your elbow.
Where's your ears, Samantha? Where's your ears?
This develops language.
That's your ears.
So name all the parts of the body.
Where's Mummy's ears? There they are, good girl. Do you want to clean her?
Dolls are great to do this with.
What's that? Toes, that's right.
Children know the main parts of their body. I get kids at school age to walk heel to toe across the beam or across a plank or something. A lot of them don't know where their heels are, and I'm wondering why they can't walk heel to toe, you know?
Really?
Oh, bingo, I know. It's because they don't know where their heel is.
Where you go, Lucy? You go and get it.
At this age, it's also a good time to start strengthening the upper body, which ultimately will give them the capability to master writing with a pencil.
Good girl. There we go. Fine motor doesn't happen until we've got our gross motor skills sorted out. So those are our large body muscle activities. Doing row your boat with them.
Row your boat gently down the stream.
Pulling them up from a lying down position, hanging them up by their hands. Do you do that kind of thing?
Yeah, I love that.
And if they start to pull their head back like that, that's a sign to you to stop doing that, because what we want for them to do is to actually, what we call co-contract their muscles, and that means they lock their elbows and take their own weight. If they drop their head back like that, it usually means that I'm not using my own muscle tone to pull myself up or to hang myself, and that can be dangerous. You don't want to pull the arms out of the sockets.
Okay.
But doing those kinds of things is really significant. Are there things that I've talked about today that you didn't know before about children's development?
Yes, there were a lot of things actually that I hadn't heard before, so it was really good to see some of the things that the girls were doing that I can understand now, the reason behind the play. So yeah, it was good.
Get them jumping. That's really where they're at. This is the age of jumping, exploration, finding out about their world.